What up, people? Please give this video a like if you like the video. Also, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel by clicking on the icon in the bottom right hand corner of this video, and then make sure that you turn your push notifications on so you can receive updates every time we post a video here on the Vaniverse Gaming Channel. Okay, people, welcome to another guide video on Conan Exiles. In today's video, we are going to cover my top 10 favorite NPC camps to farm both tier 3 and tier 4 thralls. I've gotten a lot of requests on this. In one of my videos in my new players guide, I mentioned I was going to do this video, and it took some time to actually, look at some of them and kind of show you guys where I go and why I like them. And then also, this is part of a journey step. Now, I've already recorded this video and then I lost the footage, so you will see that I have already completed the recruit a unique thrall, but we're also going to kind of explain how you unlock the unique thrall along with this video. So let's get started here. Basically, if you open up your map, there are several camps that I find to be the best locations in order to get tier 3 and tier 4 thralls. This does not mean they're the only locations. If other people have locations that I did not mention that they feel should be mentioned, post them in the comments below so that the other people watching this video can see the other locations. So let's get started here. There are actually 3 locations in the desert that I really like to pull thralls from. And let's start with the first and the main one, and that's called the Black Galleon. So the Black Galleon is by far one of the, if not the best place to pull thralls from. It has every type of thrall that you can pretty much want, including even the different archpriests for Yogg and Set and Mitra. And so this is a highly camped area, just given the fact that it's probably one of the most popular places to pull thralls. Now, you'll see that there are a lot of these little mini camps, and these mini camps will occasionally have a tier 3 thrall in them, but the bulk of the tier 3s are actually going to be on the boat itself. So you will find tier 3s running around here. So you come up here, that's a 2. This guy's there's a 3 fighter. Well, I'm stuck. What's this guy? That's a fighter. What's this guy? Fighter. So you can see a lot of these guys are not tier 3, but occasionally you might run across an actual tier 3 that is also a smelter or, a tanner or cook. Let's see if any of these guys, like this guy looks like he was something. An armor, but he's only tier 1. Let's see what these guys are. There you go. So like right here, you have a tier 3 blacksmith, so you can pull him out. And then you have a bearer thrall right here. He's only tier 1. So occasionally you'll find a tier 3 sitting around out here. But for the most part, your tier 3s are going to be up in here. And even your tier 4s. So we'll come up in here. And this is not an easy, obviously I'm in God mode, so I'm just kind of running through these people. So this is going to be a little bit of a fight to get through here, but it is definitely worth it. So like right here, that's only a level 1 armor, but you have a chance of a 2 or 3 spawning there as well. And we'll come over here. So up top here is usually a tier 3 to 4 guy sitting right here. And looks like we got a 3 tanner on this run. That's pretty much it on this side of the top tier of the boat. So if we go over to the other tier of the boat, you're going to find a couple tier 3 dancers, possible named fighter, and then also there are some a taskmaster over here as well. So you can see right here is where your dancers usually spawn. This one's tier 3, and then over here is your taskmaster guy. He's tier 3, making people do push-ups. And then up here is sometimes a named. Right now it's the Black Hand Captain, which I think that's kind of a named, but not really. I don't even know if that's considered a named or not. And then once you kind of get down to the second tier here, again, you're going to run into like right here is an alchemist. This can be a tier 1 to 3 alchemist here. And then right here, you have a blacksmith that can be a 1 to 3. You have a smelter. There's a tier 3 smelter. You have... in through here, there's a fighter. So right here you got a couple fighters, some archers, but then if you go down one more level, which is right here, then you can get down to where the archpriests have a chance of spawning. So like right here you have a tier 2 cook. This could be a 3, And then right here. So this is a high priest right now. So this could be a Yogg, a Mitra, or a set priest, and it can be a regular, a high, or an arch priest. And then lastly over here, right here is a named carpenter. So as you can see, a very good spot to pull in all sorts of different types of thralls of all different shapes and sizes. Now my next favorite spot is this one here, the den. I really pull a lot of thralls out of here solely because I used to build right in this location on this tower if you watch my new player's guide. And so I'll show you this den. So the den definitely has tier 3 smelters, definitely has 3 dancers, it definitely has blacksmith. I believe it definitely has an armor. I think there's some cooks. There's no alchemists over here. The alchemists are kind of rare. They're in a couple random spots like the Galleon and a couple other spots we'll show you here in a second. But when it comes to like smelters and smiths and stuff like that, they're all in this camp. So you can see right here, I'm in this camp here, and then there's usually one of them is over here with a couple fighters. So there's a fighter. Where's his 2 buddies? Where your buddies? Where your buddies at? Okay, there he is. So right here, tier 3 armor. Boom, right away. So these are usually fighter guys. You don't usually have to deal with them. This is a tanner. That can be sometimes a tier 2 or 3 tanner. Then on this side of the map, you will find yourself, usually there's 2 sitting right here. They're usually smelters and smiths and stuff. So here's a carpenter and a taskmaster. They're a 1 and 2, but they have a chance to be a 3 as well. And then here you get tons of dancers, and then here's another carpenter. So here's a dancer, tier 3. Here's another dancer. And then if you jump down here, pretty much guaranteed, I've never seen them anything but tier 3, is right here. So I've pretty much always found a tier 3 smelter and blacksmith right here. Smelter, blacksmith. They're pretty much constantly there, tier 3. And then this guy can be named every now and again. But for the most part, that's kind of the good locations here for tier 3 type guys. And then obviously Set City is another huge location for tier 3 and getting carpenters and smelters and smiths. Another big city. The good part about this one is they're not hostile, but if you start attacking them, then they're going to become hostile. So you can even pull, when you come in here, you can even pull out the tier 3 dancers from here if you really want to. Now, you can't kill Conan, so just FYI, I've tried. He's pretty much unkillable at this point, so don't even try to kill Conan. But if you want to clobber one of these guys over the head, you can take them back. And there's many different areas to this, so if you come up here, this is Set's City, so you have a chance of getting a Set Archpriest who will spawn a fighter, captain. So this guy's like a tier 4, I believe, the captain, kind of like the captain on the ship. But right here, you will see once he spawns in, there's a set priest. So this could be a regular set priest, a high priest, or an arch priest. And then if you go through, you'll see different like crafting stations. And like this guy right here is a tier 3 carpenter. If we jump down here, you'll see there's just some, there's usually some guys like hanging out over here. Yep. So like right here, you have yourself an armor, a smelter, and a blacksmith, all like standing next to each other. So you can kind of see that this is probably one of the second best place, if not on par with the Black Galleon ship. And then if you come over here, there's usually a camp of fellas, usually a dancer, bearer, thrall, maybe some other cooks and tanners and stuff over here. So you got a tanner, got yourself a dancer, got yourself a bearer, thrall, and so you can kind of see. So those are the 3 in the desert that I choose for like tier 3 type stuff, and even tier 4, especially the Black Galleon. So now let's talk about the jungle. So in the jungle, there are 3 locations that I've pulled from. I've pulled from the boat over here. I've pulled from the Pagoda of Boundless Lust, and I've pulled from this Deck Swab's Retreat. So if we go to the Deck Swab's Retreat, the reason why I go there is a tier 3 alchemist that pretty much spawns here all the time. So being in the jungle, having the ability to get a tier 3 alchemist is very nice. So if you are in the jungle and you're looking for a tier 3 alchemist, this seems to be the place for him. So we'll go to the admin panel. We'll make it bright. And you can see right here, this guy right here, you got a carpenter. And you got another carpenter. Ooh, 2 carpenters. So they can be a 2 or a 3. But over here, there's usually a... Right, this chick right here is usually a tier 3 alchemist. So she's only a tier 1 right now. Definitely a chance of getting a tier 3. And this Singarian fighter sometimes is actually a named fighter. So very small camp, but you have a potential of pulling out several tier 3 carpenters, alchemists, and even a tier 4 fighter. Now, the Pagoda of Boundless Lust is a fantastic place to get tier 3s and tier 4s. I know people usually like to build their little base here in order to break them because there's just so many tier 3s and 4s here. And in the new patch that's on Test Live, they're actually adding the Derketo Priestess, so you will be able to actually get a Priestess from Derketo without having to get it solely from a Purge, which is currently broken. So if you come here, you're going to see, we're on the map here. This is kind of where we are. There's a lot of these guys. These are all usually pretty high level, and they're kind of hanging out down here. But as soon as you get up the stairs is where the names start coming. So like right when I come here, that's a regular archer. This is name, May the Blade. So there's a tier 4 fighter for you. And then when you get over here, this is where all your like main guys are going to be. Like here's your carpenter, and then here's an armor, here's a dancer. What tier are you? Tier 2. And then this is obviously the gal that you learn the Derketo religion from. And then back here you have a cook. And so there's a dancer laying there. And yeah. So this is where right on this big old altar right here, they're supposedly going to start putting a priest. So you have a chance. So here's another really good one. And then obviously the Black Galleon of the jungle is going to be this place right here, which is called, well, this is like Jamila's Liberty, but I'll spawn right here. So this has 2 sections. You have like the landlocked section, which is pretty big. It's all up over here. And you do have a chance of getting tier 3s off of here. There's also an alchemist that does spawn in this area here as well. So we'll kind of show you this. But a lot of your main guys are going to be over on the boat. So we'll come up here. So there's an alchemist spawns pretty much right here every time. And right there you see Nordheimer tier 3 alchemist. And then you have this guy. I don't know what he's doing. He's a fighter that just wanders around. Right there's a taskmaster. So you can see that you have a chance of getting some tier 2s and 3s here. And you run up here. It gets kind of thin when you get up to the top here. There's not that many guys. But there are a couple. So like right here, you got your dancer. This is a named dancer. So yeah, another really good place to pull in tier 3 and 4 thralls. And then if we go over to the, see if we can jump off here without dying. Oh, smash. So you got this little place here. I believe like right here you got a carpenter, you got an armor, and you got an archer up here. So pretty good little places. And then here is where the bread and the butter is when it comes to getting other ones. We'll go up on here and show you. Jump. Jump. Left. Right. Try not to fall off here. It really sucks. Usually there's a taskmaster right down here on the bottom of the ship. Yep. Tier 1 right now, but it can be anything other than a tier 1 as well. And then as you, well, try not to fall. I said don't fall. That's why you don't fall. Just like that. Very crappy when you fall. Because you can't, there we go. Oh, all right. So back to what we were doing. Instead of falling, we're going to go up the stairs here. And then we are going to, where is it? This way. We're going to go up the stairs here. Yes, this is where we are. And then we are going to come up here. So up here, you have a couple tier 3s. They're usually, like right here, there's a carpenter. This one, I believe, usually has just fighters, but there might be, yeah, there could be a cook here. But we got to keep going up to the top because the main guy, the tier 4 guy, actually spawns at the top, and so does some of the dancers and alchemists and whatnot. I think there's an alchemist on here. Let's check. It's on this little level here. So there's dancers right here, tier 3, and then you got yourself a blacksmith, and then you got this guy walking around. He's just a fighter. And I think over here there might be somebody. Let's check. No. And then that's an archer there. If we come up to the top, this guy's someone we need. So you got a fighter there. This is pretty much always an archer sitting right here. Yep. And then when you get to the top, this is where you get the big guy if he's here. So one of the named. So right here you have Herkvar. There's a tier 4 fighter. You have a carpenter here, and then you have this tier 3 fighter right here. So that's pretty much it for this one as well. Then you got a couple chests throughout. So those are my 3 favorite spots in the jungle. So now let's go over and let's talk about the Frozen North. So the Frozen North really only has 2 really good spots in my opinion. Again, if you guys have other opinions, let me know. But right here, right in the middle of these 3 towers, is where a tier 3 alchemist spawns, and also the Emir tier 3 priest can also spawn here. Other than that, I think there's a bearer thrall, but that's really the reason why I come to the 3 towers if you're in the Frozen North, is to basically be pulling down the alchemists. Because in the Frozen North, there's not a lot of tier 3 alchemists. I think there's some in New Asgarth, where we'll go here in a second. So we are here, and you will see that right over here is the priest altar. And this is the altar that could spawn a tier 1, tier 2, or tier 3 priest. And then there's also another altar in the main city, which is the other, it's like the Black Galleon of the Frozen North. So right here, he's a Nordheimer priest 1. If he was a Nordheimer priest 3, that'd be like an archpriest. And then over at this campfire here, you can see all the fighters moping around. But this is pretty much all the time going to be a tier 3 alchemist right here. And then the bearer can be different levels of bearer thrall. So really the second and best place in all of the Frozen North is this New Asgarth. This is where there are just tons and tons of thralls all around. Tiers 3s, 4s, 2s, 1s, pretty much anything that you could ask for. It's just a huge city, and there's just a lot of stuff in here. So very similar to the that little Pirate Bay camp and the Black Galleon in the desert. Just a really big place to pull it. Well, I guess this is probably more in line with like Set City. So here we go. You got an archer there. You got a fighter here, but they should be spawning. There's some like smiths and stuff. I don't think they've spawned in yet. Let's go down here and see if they spawned. So yeah, they should be. Yeah, they're slowly spawning in. So here's like a Nordheimer priest 1. Here's another altar where you can get a tier 3 priest right here. Again, another priest 1. Right here you got a fighter and a cook. There's usually not anyone in the buildings. They're usually all outside the buildings, which I find very strange. But in the buildings is like where all the weapons and stuff are. The chests. So if you come up here, you have a fighter up here. I believe... I wonder if they're not spawning in. Over here, there definitely are. Like right here is your tanner. You got a cook here. That's just a fighter guy. So you can get an idea of kind of all over the place on where these things are spawning. They're just... This is a big city full of lots of stuff. Here's a smelter out here. And so on and so forth. So that's pretty much the Frozen North. The last place is going to be the Volcano. This is a tough one to get to, but in the Volcano, there is this main center here. So I'm going to try and port to the end. And pretty much you're guaranteed a tier 3 or tier 4. Let me just make sure I have God mode on so I don't die. Yeah, okay. So we're going to fall all the way down to the stairs. Ugh. Okay. So right here, right when you get to this entrance to the actual volcano, a lot of these people are tier 4. So like right here is Rissa the Brutal. And I believe there's some other ones that kind of walk around here that are tier 4. So the next thing that you're going to want to do is in a lot of these locations, now that I kind of showed you the best locations, there are even little camps that are named of a particular guy. So like for instance, you'll see one that's called, let's see if I can find it. What's this? Where is it? Right here. So like right here, this is called Leon's Watch. And then like down here you have, it's called Mbatu's Pack. If you have a little camp that has a name in front of it, there's actually a tier 4 that spawns in that camp. So let's go down to Mbatu and kind of show you this. So there's also these little camps around that have name guys around, name fighters and whatnot. And I can tell you that if you put a lot of pretty decent armor and weapons on your name fighters and that you put them into your base to kind of guard for you, they're actually kind of crazy. They do a pretty good slice of damage. Like I broke into a guy's place, he had 3 named fighters and they whooped my ass. Alright, so we're kind of spawning right here at Mbatu's, whatever it's called, pack. And you'll see that right here you got a fighter and you got another archer. And then Mbatu is just sitting here all by himself. So here he is. You can just crank him on his head and then you can take him back. Now, what I would suggest doing is that in front of like the Black Galleon or whatnot, actually build a little base. So bring a Wheel of Pain and put it on a foundation in here and then tier 2 wall it in with a door. That way you can just knock him over the head right there, bring him into your Wheel of Pain, and then put him on your Wheel of Pain and break him. And then you can come and open your door and see if he's done yet, and then carry him back to your base versus having to drag him on a fiber binding or a rawhide binding all the way back to your base. So that's a trick. In some of these bigger camps, just put a little house, and if you need to make it tier 3, if you're high level, so people have a hard time breaking into it, then make it tier 3. But it just saves you a lot of time so that you don't have to drag someone from like way over here all the way over here. You just put a little base here, you drag them there, you break them, and then you carry them over to your base there. So part of the journey step in chapter 7 is to recruit a unique thrall. So let's just say we're going to go back to our base, and we're basically going to say that we knocked Mbatu over his head, and we put him on our thrall wheel, and we broke him. And so you will get you don't get it when you put him in the wheel, and you don't get the recruit a unique thrall when you put him in your bar. You get it when you place him. So basically, I'm just going to admin panel on Mbatu just to kind of show you this. And I want to make sure he spawns correctly. And so now he's in my inventory. So once you have put him on your wheel and you have broken him and you can move him from your wheel off and put him on your bar, as soon as you place him, then you will get the achievement to recruit a unique thrall. So hopefully this guide was helpful. Again, I just want to kind of give you the areas I go to, kind of let you scout them out, see what they look like, and these are my favorite places to go. That doesn't mean that they are the best places. Other people, please, can comment if they have other places that they like. These are just the ones that I have known and I have pulled thralls from, and I've had success in doing so. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If this is Vaniverse from the Vaniverse Gaming Channel, cheers and peace out.